it takes a long time to see wildlife. You're not gonna go out into the jungle and see a jaguar coming across the path. It's going to take hours to see one thing because it's really big and there's a lot of places for them to hide. So it's just learning to have that patience of waiting and getting excited with everything you see, not just the big things. And I think that's what I'm slowly learning to do here, appreciating the forest as an ecosystem, and how the insects and the flora and the wildlife is just all meshing together. And that is why the jaguar is so important, because the jaguar is at the top. The jaguar is hitting all the prey species, which is affecting the grazing, which is affecting the insects. And so, that being at home in this ecosystem, the jaguar is kind of the keystone species to that, and that's why it's so important. My name is Rachel Lawson, and I'm tracking jaguars in the Aquicuana Reserve. Jaguars are a really interesting species in that they're extremely generalist. So you've got the biggest cat in the Amazon, and it's eating everything. And it's traveling super far as well. So it's a top predator, right? And so it's balancing everything out below it. But it's got all these unique attributes that a lot of other big cats don't have. It's got a crazy bite. It can swim, enjoys swimming, extremely solitary. And it's just the tendency of jaguars to be so flexible with such a changing environment like the Amazon. People coming in and temperatures changing. They can really adjust themselves in a way that a lot of big predators can't. So our goal is to get as much footage of jaguars in the reserve or in the general area as possible. So getting one, already incredible. Knowing that they're here and knowing that they're active. We already have evidence of tracks and prey. We know they're here. We know they're here now. But to get a lot of footage tracking how many there are, because in about 20K, there could be up to 4 jaguars. Our most successful outing so far involved a lot of following tracks. And so we drove out probably 28 kilometers from here and went into the forest. And below us, my guide spotted a jaguar track. And we were actually able to follow those for miles, all the way down to the water. And along that, we saw prey that the jaguar had left behind, a turtle shell. And turtle shell is really specific to the jaguar because it's got such a strong bite, like a crazy skull-crushing strong bite. When it comes to camera trapping, they're really useful for documenting species distribution, whether or not they're out there, general density. And when it comes to a large predator, especially like a jaguar that has a pretty solid home range, a lot of kilometers, it's really useful to see if there's evidence of a jaguar being there before you place a trap. Jaguars are really opportunistic, and so they'll use human-made or prey-made trails. They'll hang out by water sources. They'll use main roads too. And so finding tracks plus a road or a trail that they would already likely use is a really good probability that you'll get one on the trap. Honestly, I'm kind of already feeling that all this was worth it. I didn't expect to see tracks like that, didn't expect to find prey on such a long and active trail. Plus at the end of it, there's a water source, and it was just filled with wildlife like nothing that I had seen on some of the heavier used roads. There could be multiple jaguars in the reserve with how large it is. One thing I noticed when I came here is that everyone here, especially the researchers, really want to be here. Their main focus is expanding our knowledge of this area of the forest. And so what donors would do is make that a little more accessible to people. Expanding the facilities here and getting more funding to bring scientists here that maybe have a little more knowledge under their belt, someone who doesn't have $500 or more to throw at a bunch of camera traps, but still has that drive to go out and get that knowledge. I have really enjoyed my time here. You know, you're getting used to the environment, but it's the people here and the facilities that allow you to use a sink and not have to dig a hole in the forest. And so it makes getting up and spending 10 hours in the forest a lot more mentally bearable when you know you'll have a bed to go home to. What the reserve is doing is kind of creating a home base for people so they can put more of their energy towards the research. And so I feel like instead of having 30% of my energy being towards surviving, now I can have 90% of my energy being, okay, what am I gonna go do next? How am I gonna get this data? Where am I gonna put the cameras? And so I feel like I'm just a lot more productive here than I would have been if I was camping out in the forest. I think if we can get a lot of evidence of jaguars on film, especially if we have multiple, it would be really beneficial to the conservation of the area to be able to create a map showing where they are, because that gives a lot of pull to, hey, I want to protect this area, and I want to put resources towards protecting this area. I think that documenting more of the species in this region, because from what I've seen, the Beni region of Bolivia hasn't gotten a lot of focus. In the Amazon, it's mostly Peru and Brazil, but this place is thriving. This place is alive. And so documenting species, having things down on paper, creating more intensive maps, I think that could be a really productive use of the reserve's time in the future.